Heyo, my name is Maverick, and I'm just talking about Ghost of Tsushima. So, I kind of wanted to make this video just because I really like this game, and whenever I played through it, it was so sick, and it had like long-lasting effects to the point where I am constantly bringing it up to people and always trying to fit it into a conversation. If someone wants to talk about video games, I'm always just like, yeah, God of War's cool, but do you play Ghost of Tsushima? God of War was a couple years ago. uh, Call of Duty. Anyways, so Ghost of Tsushima. I immediately fell in love with the game, mostly because of the gameplay. The gameplay is so sick, but then the story tops it, no questions asked. The story is amazing. I almost lost sleep due to it. What is Ghost of Tsushima? By the way, if I say Shishima wrong, let me know. In the late 13th century, the Mongol Empire has laid waste to the entire nations along their campaign to conquer the East. Tsushima Island is all that stands between mainland Japan and a massive Mongol invasion fleet led by the ruthless and cunning general Khotun Khan. As the island burns in the wake of the first wave of the Mongol assault, courageous samurai warrior Jin Sakai stands resolute. As one of the last surviving members of his clan, Jin is resolved to do whatever it takes at any cost to protect his people and reclaim his home. He must set aside the traditions that have shaped him as a warrior to forge a new path, the path of the ghost, and wage an unconventional war for freedom of Tsushima. Now, if you didn't immediately jump out of your chair and start hooting and hollering over some stuff like that, you're wrong, because this game is awesome. Already setting up this sick premise of a challenge of beliefs, a way that someone was brought up. They have to change everything they know about what shaped them in order to save people. Now, that poses just the most amazing questions. It made me ask a whole lot of questions to myself. What does morality and honor mean in times of war? It's something that's reflected in the world around Jin so that he can forge his own path ahead of him, the path of the ghost. But not just that, also defining what his leadership is going to be like. I'm sorry if I'm a little all over the place. I kind of wanted this format to just seem like I'm talking to a friend. And this is how I talk on a regular basis. So we're going to get into it. Anyways, a couple other questions. How do you stay honorable in times of war? Is tradition worth losing lives? Do you hold true to those things you grew up with at the cost of other people dying or getting hurt? How do you distinguish vengeance and justice? This one is seen again throughout the entire game, but mostly in the people around Jin. You meet a whole bunch of friends like Sensei Ishikawa, Lady Mazuko, Norio, Taka, Yuna, like all these great people that have lost something, and even random villagers that you meet. You'll meet them and you'll immediately be brought into their story of like, I just want these people gone. I want them dead. And you have to be the line of, is this vengeance or is this justice? And even Jin fails at times, but you kind of understand his failings, Family versus chosen family. This one, again, gets brought up a lot because you have a lot of friends that you find throughout this war. But you also are trying to stay loyal to your uncle, Lord Shimura, who helped guide the initial 80 or so samurai against the Mongols, Khotun Khan's people at Kamada Beach. And then the last question that I kind of had while playing was, is there a correct way to go about war? And that one's a little bit more broad, and it doesn't necessarily get asked, or it doesn't necessarily get answered, but it is asked almost the entire time because you are conflicted with your own ways of going about things while still seeing them to be true. This game is all about justification. This game really makes you look at the actions that you're doing, and it shows everyone justifying their own actions in order to get further through the plot and further advance through this war. So, is there a point where you justify your actions to a point of being as bad, if not worse, than who you're fighting? Yeah, so all through Act 1, you're essentially seeing Jin in the aftermath of that war being beaten by Khotan Khan and just absolutely disheveled. But through the help of Yuna, a thief who teaches us the ways of a thief, and then we soon adapt that into the ways of the ghost, she helps us. She heals us, she saves us, and she gives us tips in order to survive. The entire time we are in her debt. We always give gratitude to her, but we're still conflicted with our own upbringings and teachings of like, well, this isn't what I was told was honorable. And she's like, well, motherfucker, you're in the middle of a war. How honorable do you want to be if you want to save Tsushima? So you gotta pick and choose your battles there, buddy. Throughout all of Act 1, it is that transition from just being a soldier, just being a samurai, into becoming the ghost. We get a whole bunch of friends. We even meet some of our old friends like Ryozu, who is the leader of the Straw Hat Ronins. And they have been, just kind of trying to fend for themselves off and about, not trying to get mixed up in the war, just, saving their people. And I get it. Ryozu is just focused on his people, the Straw Hat Ronins. That's it. It's all good. We kind of understand it, but we're still like, hey, whenever we save Lord Shimura, who's been captured by Khotan Khan, when we save him and we get Tsushima back, you guys will be rewarded. You will get treasure. You'll get money, bitches. No, not the bitches, but you'll get all these great accommodations if you help us throughout this war. So this all leads up to the end of Act 1, where we go to Castle Canada. We go to Canada. And this is a great part of the game because it just does such a great job of emphasizing how ruthless but strategic the Khan is, because it's not just like, you've been seeing dead bodies out and about, people like there was literally a point where I walked on a beach, which the beaches and everything in this game are beautiful. The whole scenery is beautiful. And then you just come across a mother holding her daughter, just a burnt corpse on the beach. And it's like, oh, yeah, forgot. We're in a war. Can't stay around these awesome trees with these beautiful leaves falling all about us. And we have these moments where we're following foxes or we're doing poetry. It just adds to the world a lot. And whenever you do poetry, it adds to it even some more, because like if you've ever read the Five Rings, the book The Five Rings, there's talks about like, if you're a samurai or if you're a warrior, you write, not because you want to be a writer, but because samurais write. If you want to be a samurai, you paint, not because the samurai is a painter, it's because you need to paint. It's just these little skills and stuff. As you're going into Castle Canada, there's a moment right beforehand where everyone's like, hey, where's Ryozu at? He flaked on us. What's going on? And as Jin, you get this option of either being like, yeah, screw him, he fucked us over. Or you can be like, hey, he's got to feed his people. It's all good. I, personally, because I was like an idiot, and I really thought Ryozu was going to be there for us. Spoiler, he wasn't. But I was like, hey, he's got his own stuff he's dealing with. He's all good. Turns out he's not. You go a little bit farther, and you go through these, you have to sneak around a little bit, and you find Ryozu just sitting there. And it's this beautiful, picturesque scene where there's like a little pond surrounded by rocks, and there's a tree with the leaves falling down. It looks so good. And then you gotta fight your bro. You just gotta fight him. And it's kind of emotional. And honestly, in these points where it's like these one-on-one duels, it's so cool, but it also like I get a little bit emotional. I'm like, I don't want to fight my friend. So I started like not even really attacking him that much. Like this game does such a great job of making you feel like this character and feel like you have the same like beliefs and you have the same drive and ambition as Jin, that it's like, well, I don't want to kill my friend. He might be fine. Like I can probably change his mind. And even after you beat him, you have a moment where you're like, I can help you. You know, we can just pretend like this never happened. And Ryozu's like, no, the Khan's gonna win. You're dumb that you decided not. You're dumb that you decided to go against him. I can't believe you. You screwed us over, and the Straw Hats are gonna die because of you. But now I have a chance to let them prosper and let them survive because of the Khan. After Castle Kaneda, we got our uncle, and our uncle has been hearing stories about us this entire time, and this is again where we are forced to look inward and look at our actions, and we know that we've been doing stuff that's kind of unhonorable, and we know that it's kind of wrong in the teachings of the samurai. But this entire time we've been allowing ourselves to justify our actions for the end means. And we got Lord Shimura. Things are looking up. And this man, the first thing he says, besides being like, oh, thank you, Jin, you know, you could have done stuff better. I heard what you did. You're being unhonorable. You're not being good. You're not being a samurai. And we're like, can we not have this discussion right now? I just saved you, my guy. Like, what are we doing? And he's like, yeah, I get it. Okay, let's go. We keep going, and, you know, all throughout Act 2, we get to have more instances of, you know, we get to talk to Lord Shimura, but we talk more to our companions and other people that were helping through their own side quests. Like, Lord Ishikawa is trying to kill his his old student because he's now working for the Mongols. Lady Mazuko is in a hunt for the people who killed her family or ordered the killing of her family. We go on these revenge quests or vengeance quests, and in the name of justice, sometimes not even really. Like, some of them are completely justified, and it feels like, yeah, this is the next step. This feels good. With Sensei Ishikawa, it was like kind of a toss up of like, is this justice or is this vengeance? And it was great getting to play it, you know, because you're kind of forced along this path to help, which is fine. But it was also like, you kind of want to, you know, like, even though there were parts of it that I disagreed with, it was like, well, for the betterment of everything that we're doing here, we might as well go through with this, right? Like, yeah, the game's great. I'm just gonna keep coming back to that. The game's great. I might not have full sentences that I say, but the game's great. That's a full sentence. You can take that to the bank. All throughout Act 2, we're just pushed farther and farther into what our beliefs are, and like challenging those beliefs, challenging our honor, challenging our way of life. And it's great because we keep having these back and forth fights with Lord Shimura, but we're not really backing down because we're like, no, you don't understand. The Khan literally studied us, and actually, Lord Shimura heard this shit. He heard this from the Khan. The Khan told him. The Khan didn't even tell us. Khan didn't even tell us. We heard it from I can't even talk. We heard it in a cutscene. That's where we heard it. We heard it in a cutscene. We didn't even get to hear it from Lord Shimura, I don't think. But the Khan studied us. He studied our way of life. He studied the samurai code. He studied how we fight. He knows what we will and what we won't do. Yeah, so furthering along a little bit, there's a whole lot of side quests. It's really cool, and there's one side quest that I want to touch on. I'm gonna do a tangent. I know I've been doing tangents, but this is a pre-warned tangent. I just want to talk about this side quest that like really hit me. It hit me harder than anything because it took me out of the war entirely. Like I forgot there was a war going on because of the great writing that's happening. So, all right, there is a lady. Her name is Yuriko, I believe. She was essentially like a caregiver for Jin whenever he was a child, and we go back to our old hometown and we find her, and she's still taking care of the grounds. There's also a groundskeeper there. They're both taking care of that and the grave site, and it's really beautiful there, but a lot of our home is run down because of the war and stuff. But we talk with her, and it's just very beautiful getting to hear her again. And she's like, I've heard about the ghost and I've heard of some of the stuff he's been doing. That's you? I don't really agree with that because that's not really the teachings you were brought up with, but I love you. So I want to help you. It's really nice. And she helps make us a poison, like for our blow dart and hallucination darts. And she's pivotal for the plot. And she only gets a couple side quests, but what happens killed me because at the end of one of these side quests, it wasn't as exciting as some of the other ones. Like I think I got to the second part of her side quest, and I was like, it's getting a little boring. I think I might go to a different side quest. And then near the end of it, there's a little cutscene. After that, she just starts coughing, like while she's sitting down at like the in this graveyard with us. Like she just starts coughing out of nowhere, and I was like, no, 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 you're not allowed to die. No, ma'am. There's a war happening. You can't. Don't do this, please. Wait until after. I need you. It was this weird time of like where you take people for granted, and it really made me feel like I took her for granted. I just met her. Me Maverick just met her. Jin knows her, but I just met her, and I'm like, you can't die now. You can't. You're not allowed to. Bad. There's little instances where we notice something's really wrong because she runs off at one point, and we have to track her down, and we're like, oh my gosh, did Mongols get her? Did raiders get her? Like what happened? And we find her, and she's fine, and she's like, oh, I saw my mom, and she was running off, and I just wanted to go chase after her. I wanted to go see my mom. And that was the moment where me as a player, I was taken aback. I had to stop the game, and I was like, does she have Alzheimer's? And it really like shifted everything in that moment because I forgot about the war. I forgot about the Khan. I forgot about Lord Shimura. I didn't care about any of that stuff. I was here with this woman who took care of us as a child, who still loves us so much. And she was talking about her mom, and she was so happy. And, Jin obviously didn't know what to do about this. He corrects her. He's like, "No, your mother's been gone for a while." I don't think he actually says that, but she refers to us by Jin's dad's name, and she is like, Mr. Sakai, but like referring to his father. And Jin is like, "No, no, no, I'm Jin," you know, and she's like, "Oh, my bad. You just look so similar, but I know what's going on. Me as a player and me as someone with family members who had Alzheimer's, I know what's going on. I knew what was happening. I was getting sad already. So I just, I prepared myself for it, and I still wasn't ready because we got to another graveyard. It was like the most obvious symbolism that she was going to die, but like we kept going to these graveyards, and I was like, are you kidding me? And so we got to the top of this mountain, or the top of this cliff, and we're overlooking Tsushima, and it is gorgeous. We are just looking at these different places all throughout Tsushima, and she is telling us from the perspective of her in a younger age, talking to our father. She is talking about these memories of just like, oh yeah, I remember we gotta go get the medicine for Jin because he's getting sick, and I told you he shouldn't be doing. And it's just so nice. And Jin is finally playing along with it, just not challenging it and being like, no, I'm not my dad. You're not my dad. Sorry, it was getting sad. So, but he's no longer challenging it. He's accepting what's happening, and we're feeling it with him. And it's a very beautiful moment. And then Jin asks, what do you see? And turn, and Yuriko's head slumped over. She is gone. And it was done. We buried her. And I think we got rewards from it. Because, you should get rewards after someone's death. But no, it was such a beautiful scene that I was like, I can't believe this shit came out of a game with samurais. Like what? Like there's such what? Like I thought we were just gonna be fighting dudes this whole time with these cool swords and stuff, and I thought it was gonna be awesome. We get awesome armor, but no, we get to forge a new family. We get to deal with our current family, and we have to see the people around us who forged us die and leave. And it's just such it is like a great way of showing Jin's progression into the ghost. He's already gone far enough and claimed the ghost title, but like seeing parts of his past leave in this way is such a great way of showing not only Jin, but the audience, like, hey, we might not be fighting with honor much more. So then we go to Castle Shimura. I forgot the name for a second. We go to Castle Shimura to fight back, take it back. Here we are. We're doing it. Yeah. Oh, peeking the mic. My bad. We're doing it. Yeah. So yeah, we go back. We're doing this. And we have the Shogun with us. Now, something that's been happening this entire time is that Lord Shimura has been trying to get us, Jin, to be his son. He doesn't have an heir. He doesn't have a wife. We are all that he has left, and he is all that we have left. And, we really we also want him to be our dad. I want you to be my dad. And, so whenever he proposes this offer of like, Jin, I'm gonna ask the Shogun to make you my official heir, that when I die, you take over Castle Shimura, you take on my legacy, you lead forward, but you have to leave behind the ghost. So the Shogun arrive, and we start getting ready. But before that, Lord Shimura is like, hey, Ryozu was spotted at Fort Koyasan, and that is the next place that we should go. We should take that out before we hit up Castle Shimura. And so we're like, bet, I'll do it alone. I got this. It's fine. But we're not going to go in alone because we wanted to ask Yuna. But Yuna's like, hey, we already made a deal with your uncle. This was set up from the beginning. Yuna has just wanted to get Taka back, and she wanted to take Taka, take him, take Taka all the way back to the mainland of Japan. That's all that they've been wanting to do this whole time, and we understood that. So, in this moment where Yuna's like, hey, this isn't our fight, we understand, and we're like, I get it. And so we go. We scope out Fort Koyasan. Now, another thing I should bring up is that we have been quite inspirational this entire time. You feel like you are starting you're lighting a fire under all of Tsushima in order to get them to rise up, and it feels amazing and it's awesome, and it's not like glorifying war, which I love that this game has never tried to glorify war, but it is this moment where it is glorifying standing up for what you believe in. It's glorifying standing up against those who want to oppress you. It is glorifying community. So whenever we go to scope out Fort Koyasan, One of those people that we've inspired who wasn't a fighter. It's Taka, Yuna's brother. Taka joins us against our wishes. He's like, hey, I'm here to help. And we're like, you need to get out of here. Yuna will literally kill me if anything were to happen to you. And he's like, you know what? I know I can't be good in there in the fort, but let me make a distraction. Okay, let me make a distraction for you. So we're like, all right. He does the distraction. We go in, we do our thing. We see Ryozu. We're there with Ryozu, face to face, and then someone comes up from behind us, slashes us across the back. We're knocked out. That sucks. We're strapped up against a pole. When we wake up, Taka's there. Taka's in front of us. Taka was captured. Taka's there on a pole in front of us, so we're trying to get out. We're really struggling. He's like, I'm sorry, I knew you weren't back in time, so I wanted to come back and I wanted to help out, and I got captured. And we're just like, it's okay, let's just get out, we have to go. Or we have a chance to escape, which I was button mashing the hell out of that quick time event to try to get out. The Khan is there, ready for us. And let me tell you, he makes a great entrance. Just walks so calmly. Not some big theatrics. There's not people around him. It's just him. Just the Khan. If we were able to get free, we could end this war right here. That's how crazy this man is. He knows what we're capable of. He's still got the cojones to just waltz in front of us. We're obviously tied up, but still, man, he's given us this speech about how we've been a thorn in his side whenever we could have been a supporting player in the war. We could have helped take over Tsushima, and it would have been great, you know? Let everyone submit to my rule, you'll be fine. Obviously, we don't do that. Why would we? And he wants to make a very clear message to us. So he says, I bet your people would turn on you in an instant. The ghost is a great symbol, but if it collapses, no one would care. And people would easily let you die. But to prove this, he lets Taka free, gives him a sword. He says, you kill him, you walk away from here free. You never have to worry about food. I'll never come after you again. Kill him. There's no second guessing Taka. And, you know, I don't really feel like even the framing of it made it seem like Taka was going to try to kill us or that he had a second thought in his head. In my opinion, the camera work and the framing of it always was very reflective that Taka was going to fight back. He did. And he failed. And it was sad because he turns around, goes for this big slash that he's not proficient with. He gets overturned, falls to the ground. Han has the knife at his neck, cuts off Taka's head, and it is not pretty. It is not one single slice, and I think that was on purpose because the Khan isn't trying to be merciful. I think it was just like a cut, ruthless rip. Here you go. Here's the head. So that sucks. Yuna finds out about this after we get freed, and she's fully in on this mission. But the fight of Castle Shimura, we are with our uncle, we are with the Shogun, we are with all of our allies, and we are storming this castle. We're doing great. They're falling back. Numbers are looking in our favor. And then at one point, we get to this gate that's closed. And instead of just rushing in there immediately, Lord Shimura is like, hey, Jin, go over top, scout it out for us. So we go up there. And we don't have control over this. Now, do I think it's wrong that we don't have control over this? No, it's great for the story. And it's tactically what you should do. So Jin sees these 4 guys and then a general. Blow darts, poison blow darts, those 4, kills them outright, and then drops down, slices the head off of the general. At that exact same moment, our uncle, the shogun, our allies, they all walk in, they see what's happened, and our uncle is like, Jin, what the fuck, brother? We had a thing. This isn't okay. This isn't what the samurai do. What are you doing, man? And it's just like this moment where Jin is like, we can't worry about that. Go. We have a war to win. We need to do this to save Tsushima. You don't get it. So we keep going forward. We advance. We get to this bridge. Again, they're falling back. They're not fighting us. This is weird. This isn't really what the Khan does. And then it's very clear of what's happening. It's a trap. On the bridge is all of our, or like a lot of our shogun and a lot of our allies. And then the Khan sends horses on fire with explosive barrels and blows up the bridge. And Jin has a little talk with his uncle being like, I think you knew what was going to happen. And our uncle's like, it's the cost of war. So again, we are met with morality and honor and where the two coincide during war. And how do you justify both of them? You get to have both of them. Is there a way for them to coincide in a good way and still win the war? And Jin certainly doesn't think that. Or he thinks it in a different way. He thinks that we need to change the way we view what honor means and what is dishonorable. I think I've been saying unhonorable. It's dishonorable. My bad. We have a fight with our uncle, and we come up with this mission, this little this idea to go poison the Khan and his men. So he slaps us and says, "You're not a samurai." So we leave anyways, and we're like, go fuck yourself. We do it, we poison people, and then we go to fight the Khan, and the Khan's not there. But guess who is? Ryozu. Ryozu's there. He's ready for us. But he's not ready to fight. Ryozu is instead ready to put down his weapon, be our friend again, because he has nothing left. And there was a moment where I really considered, if I had a choice, I really considered letting him live. And obviously we don't let him live. We fight him, we kill him, and it's bad. And I felt bad afterwards. You know, I know he screwed us over and there was a lot wrong, but like, I kind of felt bad. We leave Ryozu after we kill him, and we tell our uncle and the shogun, hey, the Khan fled. But our uncle's like, we need to deal with what's happening right now. Do you see all these poisoned people around us? This is no good. No bueno. Okay? No. You need to explain to the shogun that this was all of Yuna's doing. She poisoned your brain with thoughts of being a thief and an assassin and someone who's dishonorable. You need clear this up so that you can be my heir. You can be my son. You can be a samurai. You can be honorable. Jin stands his ground. And in my eyes, shows his honor even more by not throwing his friend under the bus. He accepts the punishment, and he is no longer going to be heir to Lord Shimura, and they deem him a traitor. So in Act 3, we have escaped. We've gone up towards Kamiagata, and we are a fugitive. We are on the run, but we are still going after the Khan. Now, during this part, there is a lot of endings to a lot of the side stories where people get their justice or their vengeance, and we see the aftermath of what's left of them. Lady Mazuko finds out that her sister ordered the death of her clan. She gets her vengeance. She feels awful. Feels nothing. She feels like a shell of a woman afterwards. Norio, who is this warrior monk. I don't know if I've mentioned him before, but his brother we thought his brother was dead, but he was actually just taken captive. And whenever he wouldn't tell the Mongols anything, they cut off his arms and legs. So Norio goes on a berserk mission. He initially plans to take us, and he does, but then he leaves us behind so he can wipe out an entire fort on his own, in quote, the way of the ghost. We are seeing the impact of our ways and how people will twist what we do and justify their own actions, saying that we are being honorable or we are justified because we are following in the ways of the ghost. So, nearing the end, we find a port where all of the Mongols are at, the Khan is at, and they're about to set sail for the mainland. We can't let that happen, so Jin sneaks into Castle Shimura to deliver a message to try to get them to join in with us in this final crusade going up against the Khan and his people. And so we get to this point, we go through this battle, it's looking great. Lord Shimura's not there just yet, and we advance forward, but then finally we hear the horns, the doors swing open, Lord Shimura goes through, and he's like, "No mercy," and we're like, "Hell yes, we're doing this, baby, it's gonna be great." And then we get to fight the Khan. And by the way, setting aside the story for a second, the Khan fight, I loved it. I loved that it was multiple parts. I love that you had to chase him around. You basically humiliated him the entire way through, not only showing that, you're not as scary as everyone thinks you are, but I can learn your ways too, motherfucker. I can understand you better than you can understand me because I'm the ghost. I'm not just a samurai. I'm the ghost and the goat. It was a cool fight. It was awesome. But it wasn't the main point of it all, which again ties back to like how this game doesn't glorify war, because it's not like we beat the Khan and now we're done. High fives, everyone. It's like we beat the Khan and now there's still things we have to deal with because of the aftermath. We beat the Khan, we saved Tsushima, but there's still more that needs to be done because our morale has been broken and we are trying to build that back up. So I just thought it was so beautiful. But after the Khan fight, we received message from Lord Shimura like sometime later that he wants to speak to us. So we go to this old sparring ground, we meet with him, and we're like, I didn't think you would actually show up. And it was kind of nice that getting to see them reconnect, but this entire time Lord Shimura is just a little bit distant with us, and he's kind of like, I wish you would put aside the ghost and just be a samurai again. I wish things were different. And Jin stands his ground and is like, if I didn't do what I did, we wouldn't be here right now. Why can't you see some honor in that? Lord Shimura drops some bombs on us. He's like, so the Shogun have decided that you are no longer a part of Clan Sakai. They disown Clan Sakai. So you will not be a samurai. And your name will die with you. You will have no land. You will have no title. You are a fugitive. And he's there to collect our head. The Shogun want us dead. We then fight our uncle. And I'm telling you, man, I tried not to fight him. I really did. I was backing up. I was dodging everything. I was trying really hard not to do all these cool things that I've learned throughout the game. The game's awesome and the gameplay's so fun, but in this last moment, I was like, I don't want to kill you. Don't make me kill you. Then whenever you win, it's not just, oh, you kill him. Because why would it be that easy? Why would it be that easy? No. It can't just be, oh, you kill him. You're done. There's a cutscene. And Lord Shimura asks us to honor him and give him a warrior's death. And when I tell you that it took me 10 minutes to make this decision. It took me over 10 minutes to make this decision because the game pauses. It doesn't really pause, it just shows you this beautiful scene where Jin's on the right, Lord Shimura's on the left. Under him, it says, give him an honorable death. On the right, it says, leave him. Let him live and leave him. And it took me 10 minutes because I was going through the ramifications of what happens for each scenario. And honestly, taking his life was the easier one because if I were to let him live, which I don't know what happens, I went with my choice and I stuck with it. I didn't look up any other choice because I was like, that's where this story is for me and for my version of Jin. So this is where it stops for me. So, but like I was like, if I let him live, I don't get to honor his death, and he goes back to the Shogun empty-handed. Are they gonna disown him? Are they gonna kill him anyways? Are they gonna throw away his legacy, his all that kind of stuff? Like, and it just felt wrong. He might as well die being one of the heroes of Tsushima and not just some guy who had a flimsy sense of honor and who was a slave to his honor. Which, by the way, that was a sick line where it's those final moments and Lord Shimura's like, you have no honor, and Jin says, and you are a slave to your honor. Oh, beautiful, just beautiful. So I make the decision to kill him and to give him an honorable death, a warrior's death, because it just felt right. So there's this really beautiful scene. Stab him, and we hold him in our arms, and we regard each other as father and son. And I'm weeping this entire time. I can't control it. It's just waterfalls, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's such a beautiful game. You know, I know I've been talking and rambling and ranting, but like, the gameplay is amazing. I know I haven't really touched on the gameplay too much. If you're fighting someone who just does swords, you do a stone stance. If you're fighting someone with a sword and a shield, or who has a shield, you do water stance, and so on and so forth. And there's also these really cool moves that you get from these myths and legends throughout Tsushima. And it's beautiful, and it does such great story and world building, but like, this game was just so great in like challenging me as a player, so much more than any other game has ever challenged me in that kind of way, because I've never had a game make me pause it so that I could make a decision on these really big pivotal things, or make me pause it because I needed to cry over the fact that some woman from this character's life, who I've only met recently in the game, this woman just made me bawl my eyes out. There's so much to the game that makes you reflect on yourself of like, how do I go about the world in an honorable way and in a moral way, yeah, so just it's just beautiful. And if I've rambled too much and not made that much sense, I am terribly sorry. Please go play the game for yourself. It is so worth it. It's worth everything. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about Ghost of Tsushima. So yeah, thank you for your time. Goodbye.